Welcome to Manifesting Through Motherhood. I'm your host, Lindsay Williams, a self-development mentor, entrepreneur and author, dedicated to helping busy mums like you manifest success, balance and create passive income on your terms. With years of experience in mindset, manifestation, fitness, parenting and business growth, I share simple yet powerful strategies to help you transform your life without the overwhelm. If you're ready to up-level your mindset, build a thriving business and create the life you truly deserve, you're in the right place. You can also find all my books on Amazon, packed with tools to help you manifest and grow. So don't forget to follow the podcast to be updated on all new episodes. And let's get going. Welcome back to the podcast. We have a guest on today, the lovely Nicola Noel. She is the founder of Brainworks Therapy, an online private mental health clinic. She's a multi-award-winning specialist, psychiatric nurse and solution-focused hypnotherapist and transformation consultant. But she does lots and lots of things, don't you, Nicola? Like we would be, I've just said on my story, and we would be here all day. You can't even sum everything you do up in a podcast. It'd have to be like 10 podcasts. But we're going to bring what we can to the podcast because our listeners are busy mums. And I think what we're going to talk about today will help and improve people's mindsets. So tell us a little bit about you and how did all this journey start for you?
Wow. So the journey started so I turned my pain into purpose. So my history, it's starting a bit heavy here, but my history is childhood SA with domestic violence as well. So not only did I witness domestic violence in the household as a child, but then my first proper relationship was domestic violence. So there was an incident that took me to A&E, which was I was forced to take an overdose by my abuser. And at the time, my son was 6 months old. Went to A&E, sat in A&E with my son and my mum. And I was there from 10 till 5 in the morning. Nobody came to see me. Nobody took bloods. Nobody did anything. I was just ignored.
This happens a lot, I can imagine.
Yeah. And I mean, the sad thing is that, so my son's now 22. So the sad thing is 22 years later, that has not changed. So I left there saying, if I survive, if I wake up the next day, I'm gonna do something different because you wouldn't treat a dead dog like that. Never mind a human being. And, there's a woman who's sitting in A&E with a 6-month-old. Something is wrong. So at the time, I was an award-winning makeup artist and a holistic therapist. And then I went into nursing. And now, as you said, I am a specialist psychiatric nurse, have been for over 2 decades, a transformational consultant and hypnotherapist. And my experience ranges from everything from perinatal psychiatry, which is mother and baby, all the way to forensic and judicial. So I have managed some of the UK's most notorious murderers and criminals. I've managed their mental health care from Broadmoor to Belmarsh.
Well, I bet you've got a book in there, haven't you, somewhere? That's so much, but challenging, but really like eye-opening as well, because my friend works for CSI and she said, Lindsay, you think what I say on a daily is bad. I could never imagine or even tell you how bad it is. Obviously she wouldn't, but she said it's bad. I said, how do you do it? She's like, I have to be resilient. It's my job. It's what I'm used to. Same length as you, been doing it probably over like 2 decades, and it's such a big admiration for people like yourself that can go and do that job and not let it affect you in a way it would affect me quite profoundly doing that job, because I'm that type of person.
I think you have to think about it as, well, there's a running joke, but it's a true joke. Like, you can't be mentally sane to do that job. There's no way. And you can't, because a genuine mentally sane person could not withstand the stuff that you see or that you have to deal with or rationalize or normalize the things that you see behind the gates. However, if we don't do it, who will?
Exactly. That's what she said. But who's going to do it, Lindsay? Who's going to do this? And I'm like,
Yeah,
exactly. So that's why she comes to me for treatments and therapy, because she spends a day with me. And that's all she needs is once a month with me.
amazing. And you do, and that's the thing that's really important. Whether you're a busy mum, whether you're a busy professional, it's taking that time out. Self-care isn't selfish. And I know people say all the time, genuinely, you need that time out to reset, or you're just going to be burnt out in a blazer. Like, you need that time.
Yeah, I do not feel selfish at all about self-care. Like last week I said to my husband, I rang my mum and said, do you want to go for a spa? I said to my husband, you're right with Littlen. Doesn't even bat an eyelid. He knows this is what I need to get through things. And we've come to that understanding. And I think that's important, that you don't have to go for a spa. They're like little things. They're just like nice luxuries that you can afford now and again. But there's just little things like talk therapies and like we do the networking and just being able to, I know that I can ring you anytime and send you a voice note if I'm feeling a kind of way, and you've got your people, haven't you?
Yeah, yeah. And it's making sure you've got that village. That village is so important, and we've lost that along the way. And what's kind of made that even more rapid of losing that, it was COVID.
Yeah.
If we didn't have tribe before COVID, we certainly lost it during COVID with the isolation. And we're seeing the ramifications of that now. And a lot of the work that I'm doing and other people like me, it's about getting the tribe back together, about creating community.
Yeah, nobody's got trust anymore. I feel like people are a lot more self-absorbed, a lot more selfish. People don't seem
Yes.
to want to help people or elderly. I always think about growing up and love thy neighbour. I always help my neighbours, but not everyone's like that. And if it was all like that, then the world would be such a nicer place. But yeah, it's say COVID made it a lot more difficult for people.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, it really did. And then, you have a new generation of people who were either born or their important years were spent during COVID. And so there's a problem there as well now, isn't there?
Yeah. So say if you had to, I always say this, like, what's my perfect day look like? What I know what lights you up, because when you did the talk, I was like gobsmacked. And my friend could come, she wasn't well, and she's a hypnotherapist, and she was like, "said you missed such an amazing person." She's like, "Oh no, I should have just come and sat in the corner." And you know what lights you up, and everything you spoke about, I could see the passion. Like, you're always going to have a day, but your perfect day is like what feeds your soul with helping people. Like, I suppose you've gone through periods of your job where you've worked like in prison and you Amazon, and you can take elements, can't you? Like, God, this what a great day. This has been helping people. You've come away feeling so like, oh wow, what a day. Can I have this today? Be like tomorrow. What would be your day? What would be like if you could wake up tomorrow and plan your day? What would it be with your job?
Job wise, a perfect day is making a difference in somebody's life. And this sounds really corny. However, this is true. It's about smashing the glass ceiling, but not standing up there on top of your own. It's like pulling as many people up. So if on a day I can help one of my clients, I can make them feel like there's nobody else in the room but them, and that somebody cares about them. And then I can also help one of my peers or help somebody, like, pull them up. That is a good day. That's a good day, because I truly believe, and like we were saying before we came on and we started recording, I bring the energy. However, that does not mean that I have not maybe struggled to get out of bed that day. That does not mean that I don't have any worries. And I know what it feels like to just want to take yourself off the earth. And so if something I can do that day, whether it's smiling at a stranger in the street and saying good morning, which I do quite frequently, whether it's holding a door open, whether it's giving somebody a compliment and saying, oh my God, the lovely shoes, or whatever, I will do that because it doesn't take much from me. And I could literally be stopping somebody from jumping off a bridge and not
Yeah, I
know
love
it.
to do that. But then you think sometimes people can be cagey, like, what does she want from me? And you're like especially like females, like, I love your hair, and like mums at school, I'm like, oh my God, you look amazing. Because that's what it's just inclined to do. But sometimes you're like, shall I say that? Will they think I'm patronising them? So you kind of question yourself as human beings. But this is how it's got over the last couple of years. We feel like there's ulterior
Yes.
motive to being kind, but it isn't like that. I'm a bubbly person and I will compliment people on anything, a new car or anything. And that's how we should all be. And that's why we have our tribe of people, don't we? Like attracts like. That's why all of us
Yes.
work together, because we are in a room and it was an amazing day and we were just filled with this energy. And I was on this energy high for about a week. I couldn't get myself down off it at all. You've got to be in that place to experience it, haven't you?
Yes, it was an absolutely, it was amazing. It was amazing to be in that collective energy with all those women who were pulling together in the same direction. It was just amazing.
Yeah, and everyone's at different times of their life, and you've made an impact on me. So imagine what all the people that really needed it more than me have gone away. I'm thinking this woman has just, because you think about that person all day and what they've said, and it starts to have an impact on your day and your week, and especially as a mum, you actually think, actually, I need to take that on board because you do forget things. But we did the other week when we did was on Zoom. We did our mental health hour, didn't we? And you talked about
Yes.
how not to get from like to 10 and what tools do we have in our box, because when we start to feel about a 3, what do we start to do? And we said, didn't we, about different strategies. What strategies like would you recommend, obviously with our busy mums, like if they're starting to feel like burning, where you feel angry, where you're going to get upset? People don't know how to regulate, do they, especially mums?
Yes. Yeah. So the first thing I would say, or I tell my clients, is start micro. Massive transformation lives in micro shifts. So it's a compound effect. It's all the small things that you do in that gap of where you are now to where you want to be. So start the day with a question, not a to-do list. How do I feel today? What do I want today? That anchors your nervous system and stops your brain from spiraling into autopilot mode and the list of everything that you haven't done yet. And that's yet to be, it's like, what do I need today? The second thing would be name and normalize your emotions. So whether it's rage, joy, or what the fuck, label it without judgment. And the brain cells, well, they're calmed down and it calms the brain and then it feels understood. So then you can deal with it and practice the 60-second reset. So 1 minute, just close your eyes, breathe deeply, drop those shoulders, and remind yourself that this moment isn't forever, but you are. Because we know so many people who have made a decision in the moment that's not here anymore.
Yeah.
And if we could just give ourselves those 60 more seconds or 6 times 10 seconds, just get through that 10 seconds, then the next 10 seconds, then the next 10 seconds.
People are jumping into flight pretty quick, aren't they? We're not. Like, I don't know what's your thoughts on workplaces with people? Do you feel like it's improving mental health, or do you feel like there's still lots of gaps there that could be changed within the workplace, especially around like busy mums, my audience, going back to work?
Yes, there's a lot. So I did a radio interview about 4 weeks ago on high functioning women and the invisible load. And do I think that, especially for women, that mental health in the workplace has changed? Not enough. And I believe that the rollbacks happening really quick as well now. And the soft signs and symptoms are not being noticed. So, for instance, you might see a mum, a lady who's having what I call persistent petty sickness absences. So it can look like 1 week she's got a cold, she's off, and then 2 or 3 weeks later she just doesn't feel well and she's off. So it's unexplained. So those are two different periods of sickness already. And then we've got maybe something happens with one of the kids. Maybe it doesn't, maybe it does. But either way, she's off. And she's then seen as unreliable. There's a problem with sickness that will trigger sickness monitoring, rather than actually what this person is probably hiding is high functioning anxiety or high functioning depression, because they're overwhelmed and they can't cope. And maybe there's other stuff going on at home, but nobody's going to dig deep enough. All people are looking at is the period of absence, not how she can be supported.
Yeah, it's not a lot of. There seems to be a lot of talk around menopause more, but it needs to cover everything, doesn't it, in the workplace now, because they are trying to bring more things to the workplace. But I think that's probably dependent if there's a lot of males and females, to probably make the males more aware of females. But that seems to be there's a lot of money going into that at the minute, but still mental health seems still to be a little bit behind on certain things. My cousin's a mental health, she's a community matron, and she's due to go back to work soon, and she's just gone through cancer. She's 38, my cousin. She's actually going to come on the podcast, and she's doing radio, and she said her mental health's bad because she don't want to go back to work. I want to help people. So she struggled herself, but she's like, I need to get back to work. And her, sadly her boss went through the same last year, and then obviously it's come down and it's happened to her. And she's like, she's luckily work are being all right, and they are going to let her come back to work on a phase return. But should I know once I get back into that job role, it isn't an easy job role. I've got to get straight back into it. Still need
Yes.
surgery next year, so I've still not finished this process. So I think
Yes.
you've got to make sure you're monitoring and talking. And I know me, like you say, like you just know when people are struggling. Like if I haven't voice noted her for the day, I'm on it. Like what's going on? And I've done it today, and like she's got a little chat on voice note, because that's the thing, just needs a little voice note, a little pull to the side, or an employer emailing at the night saying, "Come on, let's jump on a call. What's going on?" And that person might just completely open up and actually think, actually, I'm going in work tomorrow. I've dealt with what I need to deal with. It might be financial as well. We just don't know, do we? Like you say, I see that happening all the time. That recurring, sickness. I have no friends that do it. They've told me that they've done
Yes.
it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you talk about money as well, I can't remember the exact statistics, but it's really high of well-paid people. We're talking about in the 50, 60K bracket, who are living paycheck to paycheck,
Yeah.
who essentially are needing to use food banks as well.
Yeah, we see that all the time. Like we've even got things for our school, and that helps mums and even staffing, because there needs to be help for everybody needs to be able to access that, because we just don't know. Bills are going up like so much, everything, and that's just affecting mental health as well. So you work with a lot of women around resilience and rewiring the mindset. What does rewiring your brain really mean, and how can a mum start doing that even just 10 minutes a day?
Hmm. So rewiring isn't fluff, it's neuroscience. So it's the process of disrupting outdated thought patterns, emotions, reactions, and survival loops that no longer serve you, and building new ones with intention. So in mum language, it's going from I'm failing to I'm figuring it out. It's training your brain to respond instead of to react, even in the chaos. So we know that we get into that negative loop cycle, don't we? And it's like, I'm failing. Then we'll look for something to justify that because we're failing. So we've got to pay that bill. So we're definitely failing. That has confirmed it. I am now shit. Let's just keep going and let's just keep spiraling and looking for evidence and catastrophizing. We know it well. So in 10 minutes, try this. Catch the thought. I'm a rubbish mum. challenge it. So according to who and what's the evidence? What's the real evidence that you're a rubbish mum? What is it? And then change it. I'm a good mum. I'm having a hard moment. Because often what we do is we like to lambast ourselves really frequently and say that we're rubbish. I mean, we have got our children from A to B. And when on a daily basis, like you say, when bills are going up, so our basic survival is being challenged every day before we open our eyes. How are we going to pay for gas and electricity? How, because Aldi is Aldi, as much as I love Aldi, you can
Not
no
cheap
longer go,
anymore.
right? You can no longer go to Aldi and swan around like you are the queen and leave with your toboggan. Like,
Even the Tesco. I go back to Tesco now.
right? So
Yeah.
every day that is being challenged. So every day, if you don't regulate yourself, you're starting in survival mode. So when we think of it like that, just making sure that your kids have something to eat, even if it's pasta every day, because that's all you can afford, but make sure that they've got a roof above their head. You know, you're washing their uniform and they're going to school clothed. Even if they have, remember, oh my God, remember the paste on the sandwiches that we used to have, like the salmon
Salmon
paste and
paste.
all
I
that?
love that. Salmon
Oh my
paste.
God. Even if it's that, know that there is extraordinary in the ordinary. Because you may think that all the kids out there are having it, but let me tell you something now. There's a high percentage of kids who, behind closed doors, are not being fed and not having clean clothes, are, clean socks, underwear. What you think is bare minimum for some kids is like living like kings and queens. So when we want to have the bad mum, let's just remember that.
I took my son out at weekend and he said he's got SEN and he was a little challenging and I didn't take him out of his lanyard because I just didn't think and I took him in the shops and he just started to I seen as soon as I went through them doors and I went to Home Bargains he started the sound I seen it just starting to and I started to feel that burning and I was like saying I was whispering in his ear saying don't embarrass me just behave yourself and like we got in the car and then I told him off then I shouldn't have told him off but I just went from nuts to 10 because I'm like, everyone's looking at me. And I'm like, stop. Because he does some ticks sometimes. He kept making some noises and everyone kept
Yeah,
looking. And I thought, so what's he doing this for? And then I went to my mum's and my mum said, you've got so much patience. But he did apologise. He said, I am so sorry. And I know that he's not done it intentionally, but it just went, but he was very grateful. And I do say we've been and bought treats. You're very lucky. Not a lot of children can have the things that you want. Maybe I do spoil him too much, but he doesn't understand the word spoil or too much
yeah,
because he's SEN. So no matter what, people say, oh, he's spoiled. It's like, well, he's not really because he doesn't know the difference between, punishment or grounding or it doesn't, it's not in his, remit. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. I haven't got the same strategies as other mums. So I can go from that. And my husband's really calm. I don't know how he stays really patient, but I can feel my energy and I have to do some tapping. So I've had to do tapping, a lot of just tapping my collarbone and my cheeks this week and just doing that positive self-talk, just saying, Lindsay, this is just a minute, this is just his ADHD minute, it's just having, this is not forever. Like you just said, I said that, this is not forever. Tomorrow will be
yeah,
completely different, but the day after might be the same as the day before. But like, and then saying, is it me? Is it my parenting? But then, like you say, you question yourself for a minute. But then I think it's not my parenting because he has an education healthcare plan. And then I remind myself, he has got a disability. It's on paper. And I forget that sometimes because he looks normal and everybody doesn't think there's anything wrong with him. So people go,
yeah,
oh, so I said, yeah, he's got a global delay. He's not like a normal, nearly 15-year-old. He's still got very childlike, tendencies and he's going to stim, he does things. But I just kind of blank it now. So I'm getting to the point where if I ignore it a little bit, he kind of pipes down a little bit. So I'm learning new strategies all the time with him.
yes,
Like my mental health, because I will preempt your day and think, how am I going to feel tomorrow? So I think sometimes we can do that, can't we? We can preempt your day and how we're going to feel. And it's
yeah.
I mean, that, like you say, is rewiring everything.
Yes.
So, yeah, I'll let we pause then. I'll let we pause then. So tell us about Amazon, everything you're doing there. This sounds exciting.
Oh my God. So, what am I doing with Amazon at the moment? I'm working with their Black Employee Network, and I am combining neuroscience with my 20 years experience or 20 plus years experience of mental health and helping them or their employees feel seen, valued, and heard. And so, especially as women, so it's a female empowerment program, we know the challenges that we face within the workplace and the work sector. And then when you double down and you add colour to that or ethnicity to that, it becomes severely impacting. So whether it's promotion, whether it's having your voice at the table, whether it's imposter syndrome. And yes, we all get that. But when you're a person of colour and on a daily basis, you're seeing your counterparts rise above you and get more recognition. There's kind of two things that happen. It really depletes your confidence, your resilience, and quite often your drawback. So the work is about how they show up authentically, giving them mental health tools and strategies, and just improving their confidence and their resilience. And also treating what can be micro traumas for them
Yeah.
and
And
helping them recognize.
it's not just about the people that work there. The employer needs to change, don't they? Like, this shouldn't be happening this day and age now. And when you say that you have got programs like this going on, you want to think that they would need to exist in workplaces because everyone's just equal, but it's not, is it? And you don't probably just Amazon is like global, isn't it? So it's not
Yes.
just in the UK. It's probably worse in different. I would say in probably different parts of the world. Are you all over Amazon? Is it, or is it? Yeah,
Yeah, so it's global. So I
yeah,
think the really good thing is that they're recognising that this is a thing for their Black employee network, and they're putting things in place to create change, and not just create change for now, but create long-lasting change. And
yeah,
I think that's, and in an ideal world, it would be amazing for none of this to exist. However, the reality is that it does. It still exists to this day. And my two words for this year are unstoppable impact. And just like I'm all about raising women up and pulling women up with me, it's about making that true impact on mental health above paying lip service, above talking about, oh, it's, PTSD awareness month, oh, it's mental health awareness month, and then it going away. Like, what are we doing to make a real impact? And how are we creating this ripple effect?
yeah. They do it in workplaces. They'll do it for a month, and then you don't hear about it again, and you're like, and then maybe it won't get mentioned next year. But
Mm-hmm.
this needs to be a full-on thing within work. And they do it. I mean, they do a lot of things on my husband's work, and they're starting to see changes because they've changed the name and things. And it is a Japanese firm, so they're very much focused on families, Japanese. So they're bringing a lot of that over here. So they look after your families. So you see a lot of that trickling down, which is really good. And then they all got little pack when they came home yesterday from work, and it had like a prostate check in it. I was like, go do that. He's like, ah, but it had little things in, and you don't think it's predominantly male because it's like a factory and they're making these car parts. There is females that work there probably more in the office, so they've got to maybe cater for who's going to probably be in the work. Like, men don't talk. So I always say to them, like, do you talk about what do you talk about at work to your friends? It's like, I went, do you not talk about feelings? He's like, we don't talk about, but like 50-year-old men, we don't talk things like that, really. I went, but what if you're having a bad day? How do you know? And he's like,
but people won't speak. Not really. You will get the odd person that you make friendships with, but there's things that they can't. We're not allowed to ask people questions at work, and they have lots of training on that. We can't say this, and you know, you've got to be careful what you say to people because it can be classed as anything. This day and age, there's obviously been something happened for things to happen in the workplace. Even just like banter back in the day, you go, oh, you put a bit of weight on, mate, and men do that to each other, don't they? That they'll have them. But if we did it to females, we would have a disciplinary. But us women
Yes.
wouldn't do that. But men are like, oh, putting a bit of weight on there, you're losing a bit of hair, you're getting a bit of grey. That's what the lads do to each other, getting a bit of grey going on. They're not allowed to do things like that because it's really tight. Obviously, I work for myself. I don't have anybody to do that. But things are changing all the time. I think just to protect people, like say new people that are coming into the company or any company, but it's
Yes.
how to sustain it going forwards because people just fighting all the time to make changes. But is it going to stick? That's the thing. This Amazon thing for you is like amazing. You must have so much brilliant feedback and made so many amazing connections. I bet they just love you when you just come. They bet you just show up, don't they? I bet they just like, yeah.
Yeah. So it's going well, and I'm loving making that impact and that ripple effect. So we're only just at the beginning. I can imagine within the 6 months it's going to be amazing for them, and we're going to watch them grow and watch them turn into butterflies. That is my aim.
Encourages people to move up the ladder and go for the jobs that they want to go for. Nobody should have any restrictions in life. We should just live in this world. I wish we all just lived in this world where nothing mattered and why is everybody battling? I don't get it all the time with each other. It does get me down on a daily because I try not to because I'm positive. But then you see the news and you see things, you're like, no. And I've stopped watching things because I just think, I can't deal with this because this is not I don't want to live in this world because it can feed
Yes.
into it quite, into your brain quite a lot. And I think mums do
Yeah.
stress about things all the time and things are probably never going to happen, but we do as mums, don't we? We worry because I know my son, I never used to worry about things, but I worry all the time. And he's 14 and I worry constantly. And I think, why am I still worrying about? There'll be something new tomorrow that I worry about. And I'm like, but it is about looking after yourself. So
Yes.
it's that, like you say, that community as well. You're all about community and connections and trying to get, or you're trying to get people together. What does that mean to you? Just getting people together. You must get that lovely feeling once you see people connecting. And even we did our Zoom and people connect with each other afterwards. It's lovely.
So for me, isolation is soul crushing, and it's more common than anyone admits, especially for women holding it all together with a smile and a silent scream. So my advice is be brave enough to be the first one to reach out. Vulnerability is magnetic, like we were speaking about before when we're saying, like, we look like we've got the energy and we've got it all under wraps. Like, no, be vulnerable. Never, the caveat to that though is don't confuse vulnerability with a lack of boundaries. So then find spaces that see you. So not just a title mum or book clubs or local meetups or online spaces. Just make sure that it's rooted in authenticity over aesthetics. Somewhere where you can just go and be you, not tick the box. And connection doesn't need quantity, it needs quality. So if you've got that one soul-aligned convo that can change your week, have it. And remember this, the same energy you pour into everyone else, you deserve it back, starting with you, from you.
Yeah, and there was a lot of toxic positivity about, and you see it all the time. You can smell it out straight away, can't you? Like, oh no, you must see it more. It must be hard for someone like you because you've been through things and you see things, and it is infuriating, isn't it? Sometimes when you
Yeah.
want to make change, but you're like that
Yeah.
all the time. You've just got to be professional and just keep showing up as you keep showing up with that lovely smile of yours. So therapy or coaching can feel like a luxury to some people, but what free or accessible mental wellness practices could you recommend? Is there anything on your website that people can access?
So I have freebies. I didn't send you a link to those, so I will send
Yeah, put
you.
them in the show notes for people to connect with you then afterwards.
Yeah, so there's a few things. I don't have a massive resource on there. However, I do a monthly wellbeing cafe with mums in business. So that's it's an hour. You get to come along for an hour, spend time with me, and we work on things. So at the moment we're working on emotional regulation. And we've been working on that for a couple of months, and how to recognize your emotions, how to deal with them, what tools you can put in place. And then above that, you have things like Mind, and who have good resources as well. Like, don't be afraid just to reach out. That's the main thing. Like your networks, like, don't be afraid to reach out in your networks.
Yeah,
You
and
just,
to do web networks, I don't mind. I just turn up to things on my own. It don't bother me because I just think, well, when you read, if you overthink it, you don't do it, and then you think, well, everybody's here for a reason. And actually, you see people on the Zoom, and you think, actually, I thought they had their heads together. So it kind of gives you that little bit of comfort to think, well, actually, they haven't. So I'm okay to open up, and you can have that nice sharing experience, can't you? Because you think. You always think that certain people with the highest energy have got it together financially, emotionally, relationships, but it's probably not the case. The people that are probably on the bragging the most or doing the most that type of way are probably ones that are really struggling inside, or are needing that support. But how did you get involved with MiB then? Because I've been involved about 7 years since it kind of started. So, but I have seen you hanging around. But obviously, we don't live in the same town, so you kind of see people, but you kind of miss them as well.
yes, yeah,
So I just love Leona's energy. She just reminds me of you. Like she was one of the reasons, Leona, she'll be listening to this. So I did a 30 days to success. It was after lockdown. We weren't going out, and no one had an excuse to get up at 6:30 because nobody had work really. Everyone was
yeah,
up. She made us get up because I think she was in America at 6:30, and we was there every morning. And I was like thinking about doing a podcast and writing a book. And then literally fourth day in, I'm not even like got to the whole thing. And I'm like researching, oh, do you know what? Because she gives all of these goals. I thought, yeah, I'm gonna look at how to self-publish. I'm gonna look at doing it. And by the end of it, I'd already launched the podcast, and then I started writing my book, and then I published my book, and then I created all these journals. She's like, whoa, Lindsay. But a lot of us really got a lot out of it because that lockdown, there was
yeah,
negatives and positives that we could do that. And she has a way, isn't she, Leona, of just like kind of like talking you into like, come on, what are you waiting for? Like type thing, like, come on, we can do this. A lot of mums need
yes,
it. It's cutthroat talk, but we need to hear it sometime. We can't pussy around, foot around people because mums do need a little telling off now and again, don't we?
I do. And I think she is amazing at being a Mrs. Motivator. However, a Mrs. Motivator knowing when to step in and just say, like, time's time, get going now. You've had your time of sitting in shit. Now get up and let's go and create a plan. So for me, how I got involved with MIBS is I joined, well, no, not last January, but so what we're in 2025, so 2024 or 2023, the November 2023, I joined, but I was just watching. I couldn't really understand what was happening in the group. So I got added to the group, and I could see, like, remember Monday, this Wednesday. I was like, what am I supposed to be doing in this group? Had no idea about networking or what was supposed to be happening. So I was just like, yeah, all right, whatever. So we kind of left it. And then in the January, I was looking at it a little bit closer, and I was like, okay, this week I'm going to post. Then I didn't. And then it was like, this week I'm going to post. And then I didn't. And I was like, okay, before the end of January, I'm going to post. And so I think it was the last Member Monday before the end of January in 2024, I posted and I just said, I've been lurking and this is who I am. And then Becky G messaged me straight away. And then that was it. And then I just went from strength to strength to strength. So I went from not knowing a lot about business, not really knowing how to network and connect apart from like buy my shit, and nobody was buying it, so I didn't know why. But obviously it's about the connection, to winning my first award within 9 months. And then, like 12, over 12 months later or 18 months later, becoming a multi-award winner.
I bet you're like, what? And then you look back 12 months before. You wouldn't have thought you'd only been doing it a couple of years. Like, you'd have thought you'd been doing this actively for many years. But it's funny because like I look back to when I first, like, I didn't want to do lives, but I'm a chatty person, but I used to like think, right, I'll go live, and oh, my hair don't look right. And then like Leona's like, just show up, just go live, and then you go in the group, and then you hope nobody pops up on live with you, and you like you run away. And then you're like, oh, I need to take that down. Please take that down. And you're like that, aren't you? But now I won't. I speak on stage. It don't bother me. And it's funny, like the growth that you can see, because I think once you
Yes.
start to do one celebration, you do another, and then you look back and think, why did I even think all these silly things in my head and not wanting to
Yeah.
post and not wanting to connect? But now you're just part of MiB, aren't you? Like you do a bit of everything. I see like bits of everywhere, and and that's the thing. There's no getting away now. You've had it.
I'm in the mid-web now. I am in the web.
You meet connections, you meet friendships, and I've got my people that I speak to, and I have done for years. My friend was a MiB leader. Obviously, I'm good friends with Kimmy and Judith, and we do things out of work, out of networking as well. They're like my night outs now. Like I don't really go out loads, and I just go to networking. And I was a speaker the other night for Preston. I talked about self-publishing, and it's nice that we get to speak and talk about our
Yes.
business and show up, because that's all we're there. We support each other. But it's nice to see
Yes.
people's growth as well and where they've come from. And you've got, how many awards have you probably got since you started MiB? Do you feel like it pushed you to think, do you know what, I'm going to do another? I'm going to get myself involved with something else. It kind of get excited about it, don't you?
Yeah. Really, really exciting. And it's definitely pushed me to to show up, and not hide, but not just to show up as my authentic self, as my core self, because that's who people connect with, isn't it? It's not your business. I mean, obviously, people want to know, your results and what you can do, but it's you. It's a difference between why you can have two therapists in the room and why somebody buy from you and not the other.
It's your energy and authenticity. Like when you see you on here and when I meet you in person, you're just the same. You probably more got a softer approach in person because you only see people. I see as this main character energy online, but then when you
Yeah.
meet in person, you're just bubbly, you're chatty, you just brought it, and you're kind of just like relaxed then, aren't you? Because you don't know how people are going to be with you, because you
Yes.
think that person, yeah, you might not gel with them. There's not many people I don't really gel with, because I try and be careful who I mix with, and give that energy exchange back. They only get one chance now. I have got a little bit. MiB has taught me to just like find that on me, and like not be a recovering people pleaser. Just be, because parents can be recovering people pleasers, can't they? And we don't say
Yes.
no, and what it does no leads us into this spiral. I don't mind saying no now. I'm like, can I get back to you? I use different wordings now. Like, can I think about it? Because I hate to say no, but we can use different language, can't we?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Well, maybe we'll see.
I
We
think
will
about
see.
yeah. But we don't have to say yes to everything, do we? So
Yeah.
it is. I'm really excited to see where you're going. What's anything exciting? You can tell us anything coming up, or is anything in the pipeline? Like, what's for you going forwards now? What do you want? It's like a vision for the next year.
So, this September/October, I will be releasing my own modality and my own framework. So that's going to be amazing. So at the moment, I've got something called the power pivot, and that's the only way that people can work with me, which is it's a 4-week intense one-to-one to get change and to get people literally moving and out the door. So it's having me in your pocket 1-to-1 for 4 weeks, which is crazy. So they can work with me in that way. And then there's a modality coming out, and I believe I'm up for another 4 awards.
Oh, that's
So
exciting.
it'll be the awards, and I was supposed to be writing a book. However, this year has gone off in its own direction. So I haven't. I don't think that'll be a thing. It'll be next year. It'll be a. It's just been put on the back burner for a little bit, but definitely it's one of two books I'll start writing next year, and then who knows? Like world domination. Who?
I love the fact that when you don't expect to do things, and things just happen. So when I love manifesting, I always say to the universe, just show something that I've not asked for, but in a positive way. So things can come to you, and you're like, I wasn't expecting that, but wow, like so I love that when something happens. When I manifest, I love to manifest because that's my safe space. And manifesting daily, but then things that
Yeah.
come through that are like. I said to the universe, show me a surprise, and let me see the surprise, and if it's aligned to me, and then something will happen. And you just thought I fell into teaching podcasting and self-publishing. I didn't go into that. I just wanted to do podcasting and teach people, as a
Yes.
resource. But then all of a sudden, I'm coaching people to write books and stuff, and I'm like, when did this even happen? Like, so it's kind of default, but in a good way. So I enjoy it, and that I'm still growing that, doing.
Yeah.
And when it comes to books, we say it's never going to be a right time. So I say to people, just get word out every day. Don't worry, because
Yes.
I overthought this. It's not going to make sense, and just write words. And then even in 6 months, look at what you've wrote, and actually you've got your book there, and you can get someone to. I had someone, Laura. She used to be a MiB leader. She really looked at everything and edited it all and sent it me back, and then I self-published. So just start writing words because. I use like a little bit of a mind map with mine with titles and then started writing
Yes.
because I find it a struggle to write. I'm not a big writer or typer,
Yeah.
I like more audio and talking, so I found it a struggle. So my journals was fine to chuck out, but the book took a little bit longer. But I did it in the end. And if I was to write another, my husband said last night in bed, "You need to write when I'm podcasting." I'm like, "Oh, that would take a long time." I was like, "But I've got a course out there. It's easier to do the course." He went, "Do a little book." I was like, "Right, okay," because it's more
See,
possible. Well,
I love that because that's how my year's gone, because I've gone from chasing crackheads on a wing to working with Amazon, and essentially so in October I'm being flown out to Barcelona to give a talk on ethical and radical leadership. When did that happen? When did I become I was like, can the person enter the room
you ever
who's
just go to these
responsible for this?
events? Do you ever think, like, I've done this before, like you've gone somewhere and then you thought to yourself, is this really happened? Like, have I really been invited? Have I just made it up in my head? Don't you question yourself when you get to, like, when I publish my book, I'm like, is this really my book? Or is this somebody else's? It's really weird that your brain can like trick you. Like you stood on the stage thinking, they're all waiting for me. It is me that they want to talk about
Yes.
the journey, but it happens that quick. You can manifest something, but it can happen that quick. You're like, wow, this happened really quick. And then you're like,
I
how did I
mean,
get here?
manifesting, the moment that I let go, then it all started coming and I was like, oh, holy absolute, like the stuff that when we finish the podcast, I'll talk to you about that's happening when we talk about manifestation. But literally I was like, holy shit. Like, I'm not going to complain, but it just, like, it's rapid, isn't it? Like, really rapid. And so I've gone from talking at MiB meetings to now talking on global stages. So next week, I'm talking at Emma Hines' growth event. And then, like I said, I'll be going out to Barcelona in October to deliver a keynote for Amazon. And then in another couple of weeks in July, I'll be on a panel talking. I was like, but it's just not like, honestly, it's the wildest thing.
This is your
And
pace.
so,
You've gone through so much of your life. I think this was the end bit now, where you've had to go through things to get you where people say, oh, it's all right for us getting all these opportunities, and actually people don't know what you've been through. So
Yeah.
people hold back, don't they? Because end of the day, you won't be there unless you had the qualifications and the experience to talk to all, these workplaces, or, all these women. You've got the right
Yeah.
to be there, but it is hard. It's a pinch moment. You think, what's going on? Like, oh, this has to be right. I make you think, wow, sometimes, like, afterwards, did it happen the next morning? Did that really happen? Like, you have to ask your friend, like, is this really, are we really going down here to do that? But this is only the start for you, I think. I think it's just going to be, that's just like a little capsule, I think. You do a goal, you do a 3 quarterly goal in like a week, I think, don't you? Like all these little micro things happen where people are waiting years and months, but because they're stuck and they're not wanting to move forward and they're not letting go. And I said, but manifest, you've got to let go of manifesting. Trust the universe because it will deliver if it's meant to do.
Yeah.
If you're on the right path and you stay in your own lane, it will. It's not linear. It will take you in directions, but you've got to be open to them. And people struggle to get their head around that, but we've got to let go, haven't we?
Yes, yes. And you have just got it so right with manifest, like just so right with manifestation. It's and I'm by no means, so don't nobody come to me for this, but by no means am I a manifestation expert. But the work that I've been doing since October, because I went to Jack Canfield's Breakthrough to Success, and other work that I've been doing, it's not about sitting there and saying big red car, big red car, big red car. It's also about the action that you're taking and how are you making it happen. That action is in like taking inspired action, but also letting go. Like you've asked, it's going to be delivered if it's for your highest good. Let's go. What other things can you do to move in that direction?
But you get rewarded for things when you need them. My friend, she came round and she just like a look at her business when she does MiB, very quiet. And then she wrapped up with a Mustang. I went, what's going on here? And like my neighbour was like, why have all your clients got fancy cars? Like a Mustang. And she said, I don't know what's happened. I forgot this. I went, because you deserve it. You've manifested, but you've done the right. You've done all these things to get you to where you want to go to. And she's gone from this car to this car, but very quickly. I went, but you deserve it. Don't let anyone take that away from you. You're only going to get people going to hate on you, but you deserve it. So just remember that, because people can say, well, other people can be a bit. I went, just let them be them, because that you need to just brush them energies away, because people are going to be like that. And so hers is like you, things are happening really quick, and I'm excited for her. So, but yeah, well, when people follow you, they'll get to see your journey and everything that you do. But is there anything else you'd like to add? Because I know I'll keep you all day, and we'll be here all day talking, won't we?
Well, I need to come back for the second one, the podcast.
Yes.
I'm just putting that out there, people. She's having me back right now. And anything else I'd like to add? No, I would love people to come and find me. So I am Nicola Noel on Facebook and on LinkedIn. I also have a Facebook page, Brainworks Therapy, but you won't ever see me there really. So, it's just a nice to have. And I am on Instagram, but again, you'll never find me there. You will find me. I'm an old school girly, so you will find me on Facebook and LinkedIn. Come connect. And then if you want to work with me or want to find out what I've got going on, drop me a DM and I will let you know, because I'm in the middle of having my website done, my branding uplift done as well. And I'm talking at events this year. Well, I'm talking at Emma Hines Growth event, but however, by the time this comes out, that'll be done and dusted. So just follow me, come follow me, connect, talk to me. You'll be very surprised what you find.
Yeah. So, and yeah, the energy's there. So if you want to follow someone with that main character energy and just that positivity, you are the person. Because then people, when they're in your world and you're in that right place, then you can't go wrong really. But you need to find them people. Even I call it like silent coaching. Like you can follow somebody and they don't know you, but you can follow them, admire them, and take on board everything that they do. I do it with people that I listen to on podcasts. The things that we do in life, don't we? That we listen to, like Abraham Hicks or something. Like we don't know him, we don't know these people, But we
I
just,
love Abraham Hicks.
yeah, we just take on board those nuggets, don't we? And they become part of us, and that's how we grow. Because I'm a sponge, and I absorb so many different modalities online, and I take what I think is really good, and then use it. But that person doesn't know that you have to follow them, and I don't know everybody that listens to the podcast, because not everyone wants to be shown, do they? People are lurkers, people are secret listeners. I don't know everybody that listens to the podcast. It's just nice that people show up as well. So, but thank you so much for coming on. I will let you go. We'll have a little chat for you when you left as well. But thank you so much, Nicola. It's been amazing, and we'll definitely do part 2. And I will get this podcast out quick, actually. So I've got some time, and I'll get it out there, because it's nice to get it out there. So I will speak to you soon. Thank you for your time, and I will see you later. Bye.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I hope you feel inspired to take action and manifest the life you deserve. Don't forget to come and join me over on social media and Instagram at Busy Mums Fitness Corner for more tips, motivation and behind the scenes. And also be sure to check out my books on Amazon. They're designed to help you manifest your dreams and grow. And if you're ready to take the next step and work with me, you can head over to my Linktree for all the details. Let's make magic happen together. So until next time, keep manifesting and stay amazing.